we'd like to welcome you to talk about our entry into India with Walt Disney Theme Parks and Resorts, where it's a place where dreams come true that will leave tourists and Indian citizens with an unforgettable magical experience. Disney is made up of 4 different main branches. It's made up of Disney Studios, Media Networks, Consumer Products, and the Parks and Resorts. The Parks and Resorts branch, which began in 1952 in Anaheim, California with Disneyland, and now has grown to include 5 different parks worldwide, 2 in the United States, 1 in Paris, 1 in Hong Kong, and 1 in Tokyo.
So our brand strategy is pretty simple. Everybody knows about Disney and the characters, so we need to understand that we need to be sensitive to the culture when we enter India. So we have to standardize certain products, but we also have to adapt to the culture and make sure that we adapt our attractions and our themes. And overall, just give you the Disney experience in every country that we emerge into.
Disneyland in India, the theme that we've decided to use takes a little bit of, it takes certain lands from every worldwide site. Particularly, we're going to feature a Magic Kingdom castle, and we've chosen the sites of Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, Adventureland, Main Street USA. And we're also planning on building Walt Disney Studios Park. Just to give you a little bit of information about each land, Fantasyland is considered the happiest of lands, and it's a place where children and parents can interact in fun and exciting stories and fairy tales that are famous, that Disney is famous for. It also is the home of the famous Cinderella Castle and the famous song called It's a Small World, which I'm sure all of you remember singing when you were young. There's also the attraction of Peter Pan, discovering Alice's Magical Wonderland and taking a spin in the Mad Hatter's teacups. The next theme park is called Tomorrowland. And Tomorrowland portrays a sci-fi vision of the future. And for us, we think that this is particularly important in entering into India because it shows young Indian children what is possible and what they can build of their own. Notably, there is the Motor Speedway racetrack, which features the Indy 500 racetrack. And there's also the Tomorrowland Transit Authority system, which is a pollution-free mass transit system. In particular, we view this to be very inspirational to the Indian youth because it can show them the possibilities of modern infrastructure, which is today a really big problem that the economy suffers from. Adventureland is a land of exotic jungles showing children the natural resources of Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, and the deserts of South America and South Pacific. With regard to Indian children, this is really important, we believe, to help show them as a developing country not to lose sight of their natural resources and the surrounding habitats. In particular, there's also the famous attraction site of Pirates of the Caribbean, and in India in particular, this is the #1 DVD selling Disney movie. Also featured in this park will be the Adventureland Bazaar and the Agrabah Bazaar, which are huge outdoor shopping centers and malls that will help cater to our target market, which is the rising middle class. Also, Main Street USA is also going to be included, which kind of features an old world vision of the United States, and we thought this would be fun for Indian youth to kind of get a better understanding of where Disney comes from and the history of the United States. Kind of emphasizing the importance of historical education, and education is extremely important to families. So we view this as an attractive theme park. Lastly, we're going to build the Walt Disney Studios Park, which is actually featured at the Disneyland Paris attraction site, and it's a smaller theme park that is based on showing children and families the cinematographic and film history of Walt Disney throughout the years, emphasizing animated television, animated movies, and we believe that this will be a very attractive park for the Indian consumer, especially considering our current method of entry into the Indian market has been through media, television, cable, and satellite programming, as well as through motion picture and digital and internet. lastly, our park will offer hotels and resorts. And for this venture, we plan on building two. One of which will be catering specifically to the middle class Indian family, and the second one will be through a joint venture with the Taj Group, which is a worldwide investment group that builds luxurious resorts and theme parks, and this will be especially key for Walt Disney Corporation, so as to cater the wealthy Indians to the Disney theme park, as well as foreign travelers while visiting the theme park.
Now a brief overview of India's political system. India gained its independence in August 1947 from the UK. Its legal system is based on the English common law, and it's a federal republic, which is a union of 28 states. The political parties are segregated because of the lack of homogeneity between the people, which creates tensions within the country. The country also ranks 85 on the Corruption Perceptions Index, which compared to Brazil, which ranks 80, China 72, and Russia 147 out of 185 countries.
Quickly, just to give you a brief background of in Indian economy. In the 1990s, India underwent a series of economic liberalization policies, and these reforms have opened India to the international market, and specifically has allowed for greater equity flows, FDI, and portfolio flows. Because of these efforts, India's economy is now the second largest developing market and is home to 1.16 billion people, which for Disney offers a prime location for expansion, as the target market is vastly huge in comparison to other countries around the world. Some advantages, however, are that recently, although education and infrastructure is currently lacking throughout the economy, increasing government expenditure has recently occurred. So Disney is hopeful that this will allow us more easily market entry. Disadvantages, however, is that there's extreme exchange rate volatility through the Reserve Bank of India's manipulation of the Indian rupee. There is also a forecasted depreciation of the Indian rupee with regards to the U.S. dollar. However, for Disney specifically, this would prove to be advantageous, for it means our purchasing power will be greater. And continued poor infrastructure and power and road transportation will prove to be difficulties we will face in attracting Indian consumers to our park.
India's culture is quite different than many of the other cultures we've worked in and worked with. It will present a lot of challenges for us, but we think we're willing to work with that. Particularly, there's a wide range of languages that are spoken. There's a lot of different subcultures and differences in food. And Disney understands the importance of taking these into consideration when making our park. Additionally, the culture of India presents some opportunities for us, particularly their emphasis on education, family, and marriage. We look to implement these aspects into Disney theme parks by, obviously, we attract families. We look to make promotional events using marriages, and also implementing education into our Disney parks. And lastly, we believe Disney's culture may present a few challenges for management in that India's culture is very collective in nature, and the caste system still has implications on power distance, but through training programs we hope to counter these problems.
So the competitive assessment is broken down to three